Welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. We're coming in a little later than usual. Usually, we are here every Tuesday. It is a Thursday. Sorry, it is a Friday. Wow, I'm off my days there already.
It's
Holidays,
Christmas, everything's messed up during
holidays got
Christmas.
me all thrown off of these games all
Uh,
over the place. So, we hope you had a very Merry Christmas. Hope Santa brought you everything that you wanted. Hope you get to enjoy some football, some good food, some family, all the good stuff. So, welcome back. We got another episode of the Take Two podcast. We are here weekly, like I said, every Tuesday. Me and my brother, I am Jameson Frame, accompanied by Reed Frame. We are diving into all things football, specifically NFL. We do also dabble in the NFL or NCAA for players coming into the NFL, stuff like that. So, trying to keep you up to date with as much knowledge as we have, our thoughts and opinions, our hot takes. Just trying to entertain you guys, get you to laugh, get you to go, what the heck are these guys thinking? Anything to get you thinking and coming back at weekly. So that's all we're here for.
yeah. If you
Read.
guys were if you guys were here last week, you'd know that
Like,
me and Jameson we're in the champion or we're going in the playoffs for fantasy football. I would like to sadly say that Jameson got his butt handed to him.
okay, here's the deal with this. Reed scored a league record in points for a week. I was the second
Yeah,
highest scoring team
hype.
of the week. I would have beaten the other two people in playoffs. Reed outscored me by 30 points. I outscored third place by 30 points. That is quite the spread, Reed. That is respectable. Not a whole lot I could have done.
Well, I mean, it's fantasy football. There's literally nothing you can do. You can pick what players go in, and that's about it. You just sit back and watch.
Well, that's
You
what I
can
mean.
do,
Even if my max starting
yeah.
roster wouldn't have even have touched you. So literally, no matter what I would have done on my roster, nothing I could have done.
hmm
Makes you feel a
Yeah.
little bit better, but still hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. I mean, especially since the league is a little competitive, especially with family and stuff, bragging rights. But I told you, I gave him a pep talk. They listened. The coach Frame was in there, and he was ready to he hyped him up, and they performed well. I think every person in my starting lineup scored a touchdown, and you just love to see that. So,
Yeah, red zone is pretty miserable, I will say. Every time it panned to a new team, it was just all of Reed's guys scoring touchdowns. It was brutal. Very brutal.
sir.
Both of your teams actually went off, not just that one league. It was
Yeah, I thought you were gonna win in our other league, so I thought me and you were gonna meet in the championship too. We're gonna play each other back to back weeks, and I was gonna have to beat you up again, but lost in that one. So your season's
just
over. How's that
just
feel?
yeah, it's horrible. Amir Abdullah just crushed my hopes and dreams. I never thought I'd be saying that.
Jane Daniels with 40 points. Oh, best pickup in that league ever.
Yeah.
You'd love to see it. Fantasy football is a crazy
Anyways,
game.
enough gloating by you and enough crying by me. We can we'll touch on the college football playoffs. We both went 4-0 in the first four games. Not that
Who
they
would have
were
guessed?
Yeah, not that they were horrible picks or super hard to determine. A lot of the games are blowouts. None of them were really good to watch.
The average win by margin was 19.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, these teams were
That's
definitely outmatched.
I don't even think it was outmatched. I truly believe it's that home field advantage.
You think so?
In college football home field advantage is, I would say, three times better than NFL's home field advantage.
I suppose you do see a lot of the upsets taking place at the underdogs stadium, don't you? Where they
Yeah.
storm the field then after and whatnot.
Home field advantage is huge in college. I mean, you just see the college atmosphere. That's hype. College games are pure just hype. That atmosphere is crazy, right? You got when Vanderbilt beat Alabama, storming the field, taking the field goal post. That's cool. Like, who doesn't love to see that? Unless you're an Alabama fan, of course. That's probably the only person that hates to see that, right? But like, that's cool. I mean, you got Penn State murdering SMU. We call that SMU.
Yeah, they weren't good.
Yikes. Big yikes. Texas murdering Clemson. As a Clemson fan, I saw it coming. I was kind of prepared. I was like, hey, we made it to the playoffs. Good work, boys. Great season. What's coming next year, right? And then you got 42 to 17 Ohio State Tennessee. That was supposed to be the closest game out of them all.
Ohio
And
State, that's who I got winning it all.
yeah, I agree. Ohio State playing good and losing to Michigan definitely helps them. I think losing to Michigan helped them more than beating Michigan. If we're being honest here, that lit a fire underneath them. Now they're ready to go. They got momentum. They just blew out number 7 Tennessee. That's pretty damn good. But I really think that if this was at a neutral site, this would be a lot closer of a game. Because Ohio State, what do they house 100,000 people in that stadium?
I don't even know what the exact number is. I know it's a lot. I know that stadium's huge.
That state college stadiums are bigger than NFL stadiums. A lot of people don't
Yep.
know that.
Yeah, that was
Michi
surprising. I found that out a couple of years back. That was super surprising.
Michigan's like the third biggest stadium in the world.
I don't even know what is the biggest stadium.
It's
I'd have to look it
it's in
up, but
India. It's in India. It's some
oh,
weird. I looked it up. It holds like 300,000 people or something like that.
can you imagine being the nosebleeds in that one?
Do
Just
you know how
couldn't
high up
see
you?
anything.
I don't know if it's like a dome. It's weird. Look up the biggest stadiums in the world. It's a weird looking stadium. I think it's like in India or like China or something.
Hmm.
I don't remember its name, but imagine running a football game in that. You know
So,
how loud the crowd would be?
yeah, you can't hear.
No. But like Ohio State, I truly, I are, of course the fans aren't on the field, but the fans have a huge impact and a lot more impact than I think we're giving credit to. You see in the NFL, but I think just this round of the playoffs has really exaggerated how good home field advantage was.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too this week. I think Arizona State and Texas is going to be another bloodbath. I think Texas is going to handle business, even with Arizona State getting the home field advantage in that game, which is going to be.
There is no home field advantage now.
All these are all neutral field. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm stuck on NFL playoffs. This whole new system is messing with my mind. Yeah, so
I
that's going to take
really,
out home field advantage out of it completely.
yeah.
I still think Texas is going to absolutely just destroy it.
It's Arizona State, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
that one's not going to be close. The other one I don't think is going to be close is the Georgia game. I think Notre
give
Dame
Notre
is going to
Dame.
handle business quite well.
Really?
No Carson back.
I think
It
Carson
doesn't
Beck matters.
actually. It would help Notre Dame more to have Carson back on the field. Probably throw a couple picks.
Yeah, I was gonna say their backup looked pretty good against Texas.
He looked all right, but I just the inexperience I think is going to catch up to him.
It might, but I mean, either way, honestly, hear me out. Carson Beck does throw picks, right? And you're almost guaranteed to throw a pick with Carson Beck. With your backup, he didn't throw a pick. Actually, I think he threw one.
I don't know. I didn't watch that game all too closely. I
I
did
think he
watch
threw one, but it
a
was the
couple of it.
receiver's fault, not his. I think it was like a little tip ball, not his fault. But um, I think they might have better chances with their backup than a Carson Beck that was playing it the way he was before he got injured.
They might, but I still don't think. I think Notre Dame will handle business pretty well. My
Just that
opinion. I
Georgia
got Notre Dame
defense,
advancing. Those are my
that
two
Georgia
upsets.
that
I
Georgia
got.
run game,
Doesn't matter. Don't worry about
Trevor Etienne, that guy's a dog.
it. Jeremiah loves a dog.
But that Georgia defense,
I'm not worried, man.
all right,
Not
all
worried.
right.
I got oddly enough, I have all lower seeds winning this week. I have the
You have
5 seed beating the 3 seed.
Arizona State beating Texas.
No, they're the 4 seed.
Arizona State's the. Oh, you're right. I was thinking of
Playoff
rankings.
seeding.
I
Playoff
was
seeding.
thinking rankings. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
I
I
was
have
thinking
5
rankings.
Texas beating 4 Arizona State. I got 8 Ohio State beating number 1 Oregon. I got 7 Notre Dame beating 2 Georgia, and I got was that 5, 6 Penn State over 3 Boise State. I got all lower seeds winning.
Do you think Boise State puts up a fight against Penn State?
Yes, I think it'll be a close game, closer than it should be.
I agree with that. I don't know about a close game. I think it's gonna be more than 7 points.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be within 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these two teams think you would think Penn State would beat them by at least 10, right? So I
Oh,
think
for sure.
it'll be
What's the line on
within
that
that
game?
10. I don't know, I can look it up though. Give me a sec, I can find it for you.
Yeah, but I mean, these 4 games. Did you touch on the Oregon Ohio State game?
No, that one's gonna be a really good game. That's gonna be game of the week.
That's game of the week for sure. I think if you want to watch some football, that's not the NFL, of course. Go watch this game. This game is going to be a war between two amazing teams. They faced off earlier this year, I believe. Oregon came out on top as they're undefeated, so if they played someone, that means they won. And I think Ohio State, just seeing them, first of all, I think playing a team for a second time the outcome of that second game can be drastically different from the first game just because of what you've seen before. You have the same matchups. Maybe you have different matchups because of injuries. You have the same matchups. They're running the same scheme. A lot of new things have to be put in if you want to try and trick that team. There's a lot of factors that come in if you've played a team for a second time, and that's why we see in the NFL divisional matchups are always a just wonder because it's that second time playing, right? And they
Mhm.
play each
Yep.
other so much, they know each other so well, and that's what makes divisional matchups so close and always so competitive. And I think that's where we're going to see here with Oregon Ohio State is just it's a competitive game because they've seen each other again, and I have Ohio State coming on top.
You have Ohio State winning? I thought you had Oregon winning.
I have Ohio State winning.
Oh, okay. The Penn State is 11-point favorites over Boise State. I would lean towards Boise plus the points there. I think they're going to keep it within 10. I don't think
I
they're
think.
going to win, but I don't think it'll
Oh,
be that far off.
I think it'll be a 7 point game.
Something like that. 7 to
Mhm.
10, somewhere around in there. The Oregon is actually Ohio State's favorite. Ohio State is
Really?
2.5-point favorites.
2.5 point favorites.
2.5. And then Georgia is 2-point favorites over Notre Dame. Texas is 13.5-point favorites.
Yeah, it
Not that
checks out.
that game's gonna be blowout.
That checks out. So, have you seen the controversy between in this playoff?
Well, are you talking about like Ole Miss and Alabama? How they felt like they should have been in?
I'm talking about like why is Arizona State in the second round of the playoffs against Texas when they're
Well,
going
it
to get
just
blown
comes down
out?
to that comes down to playoff seeding based on so basically how I understand it, and I don't know if this is accurate or not. How I've been described it is when the NCAA went to all the conferences and says, here's what we want to do, here's how the playoff structure will take place. The four highest seeded conference winners got the first four seeds. So Arizona State won. I don't even know what conference they're in. Big 12?
Big Big 12.
It's got to be Big 12,
What? It's the ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12.
I think. Well, no,
Is that your
Mount
four?
West is isn't Boise State from the Mount
ACC,
West?
ACC, ACC isn't one of them because SMU and Clemson are ACCs.
Okay, so it's got to be regardless. So the four highest seeded conference champions. I think it could be any conference. I think it's just the four highest seeded
Interesting.
gets the first four picks. So Arizona State winning their conference was the worst seeded of the four highest conference, so they got the four seed. And then from there on, it trickles down to just best remaining ranked opponents. So it just goes down the list, up, down, down till you get to 12.
Yeah, but I'm saying like with the Penn State controversy. Like Penn State had SMU and now they're going to Boise State. Like, have you seen that controversy?
What's the problem? What's the
Penn State has an easier path than Oregon has, and they're a lower seed.
Texas has the easiest schedule,
That's what I'm saying. So that's controversy. Shouldn't Oregon have to have the easiest?
but it's just how the seeding
That's what.
played out.
So I'm saying that shouldn't be though, because the seed should always have the easiest path, correct?
Well, I agree, but that's the problem with not reseeding brackets.
So you
NCAA
would
does all
say,
these set brackets that they come down through. They do the same thing with basketball, the big tournament
mhm.
basketball. They do the same thing with their volleyball schedules the same way. Yeah, this one, I hate set bracket playoff formats. I think they're terrible. I think reseeding is the only correct way to do it. It rewards, like you said, the best teams. You play your butt off all season long. You're the best team. You get the benefit of playing the worst remaining seed, easiest path to the playoffs.
So would you then say keep the buys or have the four best teams have the buys, or should we keep the conference champions as the buys?
Well, you can still do the first four buys, but then it would just reseed accordingly with who remains
Yeah,
after that.
I agree with that, but I'm saying should the best four teams, though, so Oregon, I would say Oregon, Texas, Georgia, and Ohio State. Those are probably your four best teams in the playoffs right now, correct?
Yep.
Should they have gotten a bye, or should the conference championships have a bye?
In my opinion, the best four teams should have gotten a bye. But
Okay.
at the same time, like, yeah, you could have your conference winners get an automatic bid into the playoffs. Fine. but then you could still be the lowest rated seed in the playoffs. Like you get in there, you get in over a team that probably should have made it over you because you won your conference. But at the same time, I don't think you should get the 4 seed over a team like Ohio State. Like I agree with
So
that.
I completely agree with you for that reason. I think the better teams should have the easier playoffs to the bracket. The one argument I've seen that I've liked is the economic argument, right? So the thing that a lot of people don't know is each round in the playoffs, the program, each game, they get $6 million.
Okay.
So the first round, 6 million. Second round, 6 million. It keeps going up. Each round you make it. So the teams that get buys automatically get 12 million. So
Okay.
Arizona State got 12 million, Boise State got 12 million. Those are two small schools that need money to build their program. That's the only reason why I think the conference champions should get their bye to help smaller schools compete with these bigger Ohio State teams. Because
Yeah,
if we
that's
have the
probably why they set it up that way then.
and I like that. I actually do like that. It does make it so teams are getting easier playoffs. I want them to reseed. Oregon should be playing SMU and Arizona State, in my opinion. That should have been the two games they played.
It would actually be Clemson first. Clemson would have been the lowest rated seed. Oh, but
I
they have
don't
a first
agree with
round
you.
bye.
They would Clemson wouldn't have a first round bye because there's only four conference champions. Even though
No,
Clemson
no,
was a
Oregon
conference
had a
champion.
first round bye.
Oh
Clemson
yeah,
did
yeah,
not.
yeah. Yes, yes. So it'd
But
be
Clemson and SMU both lost first round anyway, so they wouldn't have even played Oregon. So the
You're right.
lowest
So
remaining
Oregon
seed
should be playing
is
right now
Ohio State. They're the lowest remaining seed based upon how the bracket was set up.
based on, but if it's reseeding, then they'd get Arizona State, correct?
No, because they're the 4 seed.
Oh, I think seed shouldn't be based on if you get a bye or not.
That's how you'd have to set it up. Actually, looking at this, it is set up the right way right now. The 1 seed plays the 8 seed, which is the lowest remaining seed. You have the 2 playing the 7. You have the 3 playing the 6, and you have the 4 playing the 5. So
Yeah, but like
playoff seeding wise, it actually
playoff
is how
seeding
it should
wise,
be.
playoff seeding wise is how it should be. But Arizona State should not be the 4 seed.
But
Boise
that
State
goes
should not
back
be
to
the.
then. But that goes back to your point where should they get that automatic 4 seed by winning their conference? You just said that you like that because then you get more.
I'm saying they shouldn't be seeded that way. They should just get the bye. So Arizona State should be
How could you seed it and give them the bye? They can't be like the lowest rated seed
the
and get a
seed.
bye.
Yeah, the seed is literally just a number next to your name.
Okay, yeah, you'd have mutiny on your hands if you gave the 12 seed in playoff a first round bye.
It's because they won their conference champions. You can be the worst seed in the playoffs, but if you're a conference championship, you get a bye.
But that's basically what happened. But now they're the 4 seed because of it. So you still have to reseed in the playoffs. You still have to associate a seeding with each playoff team that you would then associate reordering. If
Hmm.
you're giving a team a bye, that would put them as a higher seed because you're giving them the benefit of the bye. You can't give a team the 12 seed and the bye. It just doesn't work that way.
I suppose. But
So
like
that's
then
the problem. Like you can't have it both ways. Like I get wanting to give smaller schools money so they can build up their programs to have a more competitive balance. I get that. I like it. But then you can't also reward them with a low seed and 2 bound buys because then everybody's going to get pissed.
but like people are pissed now, right?
Yeah, but I think this is closer to what they want than that other scenario. Ultimately, the NCAA just wants as many competitive, good games with high viewership games as possible. That's all they want.
Well
They
then
want,
then they wouldn't have Arizona State in the playoffs.
well, I agree, but the only way to get college football players pushed through is you had to accommodate the conferences. If the ACC is like the only way that we're going to accept your new playoff is if we win, we get in, we get a high seed, we get that $12 million. That's the only way that we're willing to go. And NCAA doesn't want to, put a hold on all this extra income that they're going to be receiving from all these games. They're just like, yeah, screw it, we'll do it. We'll deal with the ramifications of it later.
Hmm.
So yeah, no matter what you do, somebody's always going to complain. It's just
Yeah,
how it is. The thing
Yeah.
is, like with the NFL, I'm sure when they first moved to this playoff structure that they have now, which I think is great. I think I love the way it's done. Like I'm sure people complained about it early on too, but then they just got in line with that's just how it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of things they could fix about it, like Arizona. Maybe they should bring. What do you think about bringing home field advantage into the second round?
I think you should have home field advantage through the whole thing.
I like that. I think home field advantage should be a big part of this college.
Have leave it in the
It's
college campuses. That's like you said, it's all about the atmosphere, right?
yeah.
Imagine, like college game day morning going for the semifinal game. Can you imagine how electric that would be at
Oh,
Texas? Texas is hosting the semifinal game. Like that'd
that
be
would be,
insane. Like, the
or
amount that's
like
on the line, the
an
people that
Ohio State hosting game.
right.
That would be
You're bringing revenue into those schools directly. Plus, then you have an even crazier atmosphere. Then you're also rewarding teams for doing good by giving them home field advantage. And then obviously the national championship game you have to host in
I think that should be a natural or neutral
yeah,
site.
you can't have a home field advantage for that. But yeah, everything. And that again, that would crucialize seeding. You have a higher seed in playoffs, you get home field advantage.
That so like I think I'd be fine with Arizona State being a four seed if they were able to host Texas this week. Then I'd be like, hey, now I'm starting to think, hey, this might be a closer game.
Yeah, I would say it's closer than 13 and a half, but
I
you're
think
still getting
Texas is still going to
home.
win. I'm not saying Texas isn't going to win. Arizona State's losing, right? I think everyone in the world's taking that. But then there's just that what if factor. Hey, what if Arizona State is at home and they beat Texas? Do you know how fast that field's getting rushed? Do you know
That's
that
that's
memory?
that's the other. What's the deal with tearing down the goalposts? Like, why do they need to destroy things in order to celebrate? I never
I
understood.
agree with that. I get that. But I
Like,
think
what do
rushing
you?
on the field, as long as they're
Oh,
not destroying things, I rushing on the field is cool. I love it.
I love rushing on the field. One, leave the opposing players alone. There's too
Yeah,
much crap talking and pushing and like going on with they're just trying to get off the field and they can't even get through the crowd without getting trampled and stuff like that. Two, stop destroying your own team's facilities. Like, what
I
is
don't
that
get
about?
that. Yeah.
Like those two things, we solve those two things. Like if you got to wait, at least wait for the opposing team to get off the field before you storm. I love it because then nobody's getting hurt. There's nothing going on with that. But I love
What
the
about
atmosphere.
what about like
100%.
flag planting if it's an away game?
I got no problem with the flag plant.
I don't either.
I
As long as it's not
as long as nobody's
destroying
getting
stuff.
hurt and you're not like literally destroying the facilities because I just don't think that's cool. And you know, these teams put a lot of money into having
Oh,
good
a ton. Yeah.
facilities and stuff like that. There's really no reason to destroy property. But getting your kind of like what Baker did, the flag just fell over right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
The actual action of it, I have no problem.
I completely agree. And I think that's what makes college football is that atmosphere. Like
Yeah,
when I see people rushing, oh, I just get excited. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Get
it's
on that
electric.
because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun. I wish NFL like would be able to do that. I know it's a safety concern with like all that. I get it. I get it. I get it. But that's like my one of my main draws to college football is I love when the underdog wins just to see that, right? And again, I'm not saying Arizona's going to win. I don't think Arizona's going to win. But if they were at home and they won,
It'd be crazy.
it would be crazy, it'd be electric. I'm just saying bring home field advantage everywhere into the playoffs except for the national championship.
Yeah, I mean, we could go round and round about our ideas and how we think college football players should be set up. Right or wrong, you're never gonna know. It kind of is what it is. I'm still excited to kind of see how these games play out. I'm just hoping for some competitive games this week. I think that Ohio State Oregon game is going to be good. That Georgia game I think is going to be good. The other two games I think could get out of hand pretty quickly, as the spread kind of indicates. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. We'll touch back in next week on that. Um, yeah, that was a good college football talk right there. Didn't
I
dive
love
much into
college
what's going
football.
on, but it was still
I mean, college football has grown on me immensely in this past year. And honestly, if I'm being honest, it might be because of NCAA, the game coming out.
yeah,
I play a lot of that game. You know that. I
yeah.
have like I have an insane amount of hours in that game. Love that game, and I think that's why college football's grown on me. Just the atmosphere. I love college football. Who doesn't love football? Is the real like football is just an amazing sport, man.
it is incredible unless it's a Thursday night football game with the Bears and the Seahawks. Then it is a very boring sport to watch.
As a Seahawks fan, man.
That game is
Actually,
brutal.
if I'm being honest, now you wouldn't get this because you lost in fantasy, right?
Wow.
But as a person who is playing against Geno Smith, Caleb Williams, and Zach Charbonnet, I'm sitting there going, "Hey, 6-3, no touchdowns, love it, love it." Yep, they put up very barely any points.
That was
He had like here he has like four players that have played, and he only has like 40 points. He's averaging 10 points a player in the
not
championship.
good.
Give me my money.
There are a couple games before we dive into the slate of games for this NFL week. There are a couple players that are coming up on incentives for the season. I want to touch on them one for a couple of reasons. One for fantasy football. If you have these players, you're kind of questioning whether to start them. These yards are within reach. The teams are probably going to help them try to get there, but they're also going to be motivated themselves to hit these marks just because they can get payday. Secondly, for those of you who bet, these are some props that are very achievable and might influence you to kind of take the overs on a couple of these lines. So we have Mike Evans, who needs 13 catches in his last two games to get $1 million. He needs 182 yards to get reach $1 million, to reach $1 million, which is also that 1,000 yard mark, which he has never missed um
And
in his career.
that's also a record, correct?
I
For
believe it would be.
most consecutive 1,000 yard seasons. I think it's
For that,
12.
yeah, I don't know what the exact number is. It, it's
Yeah,
it's something insane though.
it's
The
impressive.
182 yards, very achievable. My point is, if they're at the end of the game, garbage time, they're gonna be throwing him the ball to try and get him some yards. So the over on those really good. 13 catches, 182 yards, one touchdown as well to get $1 million. So those are some good ones I like from Mike Evans. Tony Pollard has some sneaky ones. He needs 83 rushing yards to get 250K, and he needs two touchdowns in the next 2 weeks to get 200K. So goal line carries will be going to Pollard most likely.
Hmm.
Saquon Barkley, this one's gonna be tough. He needs 162 yards to get to 2,000. This is rushing yards. He has a $250,000 bonus if he hits 2,000 yards. He's 267 yards away from the record. That's like what, 134 yards a game. That's gonna be tough.
It's
Could do it.
Saquon Barkley. It's
It's
definitely
the
doable.
one thing he has going for him is he plays the Cowboys this week. Not a great defense against the run this year.
And then he plays the Giants week 18.
So it could happen, but 267 yards in two games is going to be tough.
If there was teams that he could do it against, it's these teams.
Yeah,
And
the
the
Eagles are going to try and help him get there too.
and against the Giants, like how poetic is that? This is the reason why people think the NFL is scripted. Because why is Saquon
Yeah,
Barkley breaking the record against his old team? That's
right.
a little fishy, but you know.
I mean, the Eagles didn't let him break the Eagles franchise record for rushing yards in a game against the Giants earlier when they played.
But I feel
He
like
had the
I don't
opportunity.
know.
I don't know if it
Yeah,
was the Eagles or his career. And I could have been both, maybe. I don't know. I remember hearing something about it though, where he humble dude. He was like, "Nah, let the young guys get in there and get some playing time. I don't need to be taking some garbage time carries against like good guy."
I love Saquon. I'm a big Saquon fan. Even on the
He's hard not to
Giants,
like.
he's fun to watch, man. I mean, if you're hurling dudes backwards, how do you not like that guy? I mean,
If Saquon breaks the record, does he automatically win MVP?
I think he automatically wins Offensive Player of the Year. I don't
I
know
think
about
he's going to
MVP.
do that.
What?
I think he's already going to do that no matter what.
But I think if they break a record like that, there shouldn't even be a vote, in my opinion. There shouldn't be a vote. He should automatically be Offensive Player of the Year, and he should automatically be a candidate for the MVP. He should
Well, he's
automatically
already
be in the
like
top three.
third in voting for MVP right now.
And he should automatically be like a lock for the top three. And then that's where they vote. They only give him like three people on their ballot or something like that.
That'll be interesting. We could touch base on that in the next couple weeks to see how close he gets to that. Three more for you. Cortland Sutton is 137 yards away from a $500,000 bonus. Brock Bowers is 5 catches away to break Puka Nakua's rookie receiving receptions record in a season. Puka Nakua had 105 last year. Bowers is 5 away from breaking that. So something to look forward to
Brock Bowers.
as a tight end. That's pretty crazy, right? He's gonna do
Oh,
it. The thing is,
oh,
does
for
he do it
sure.
this game to tie the amount of games Puka's played? Because there's always gonna be those people
So
that be like, Puka had one less game.
my argument to this is it's not about the games, it's about the touches. I don't care how many games they played. What if Brock Bowers has less receptions than Puka did? What's your argument now? He touched the ball less. What if he had one game for one catch? Does that even count as he had one catch? Look at catches instead of games. You can
That's what
play a
we are
game.
talking about.
No, you said games. I'm saying look at touches instead of the amount of games they played.
Yeah, so the argument is Brock Bowers, if he beats Puka's record in 17 games versus Puka broke it in. Did he have
16.
17 games last year? Or was it 16? I can't remember
He
if
had,
this was the
se-
first year or last
he
year.
had 17 last year.
So last year's the first. Okay, so that doesn't matter. You're not going to have people complaining either way then. I couldn't
Yeah,
remember if it was last year or this year.
but what I'm saying is I hate that excuse of they're going to say for Eric Dickerson versus Saquon. That's going
Yep.
to be used. I
Yep.
promise you that's going
100%.
to be used. I don't care about games. I care about touches. Eric Dickerson. I don't know. I don't know the stats. I don't know who has more touches. I'm just saying, if Saquon has more touches, all right, fair game. He had more touches.
You're saying like average, like yards per carry,
I'm
essentially.
saying actual just touches. If you have more touches, you have more opportunities. Now the games give him more opportunities for touches, and those touches can turn into yards, right? I'm looking at it as an opportunity, right?
Okay. So but I guess what I'm asking is Saquon would need to do it in less carries than Eric Dickerson did in order for you to validate it.
Well, I'm going
Like,
to
yeah, he had
validate
more
it either
games to
way.
do it, but he had to
He
do
has
less
more
carries.
yards. He has more yards. Either way, he has more yards. I'm going to validate it either way. He has more yards. You can't say he doesn't have more yards. It's a fact. He has more yards than Eric Dickerson.
Well, right, but
I'm,
that's why people complain is well, he had more games to do it in. He got more opportunities to get more touches. If Saquon does it in more touches, he was less efficient in his carries to beat the yards, which is where the argument comes in.
I'm not saying Saquon's better than Eric Dickerson. I'm just saying he has more yards in the season. The stats still count, right?
I get what you're saying. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate on like what
Yeah,
people would
I get it.
say.
I'm just saying we're not saying they're a better player. He just had more yards. Who cares about the record? Eric Dickerson, I would say right now, Eric Dickerson's a better running back than Saquon is. Saquon definitely is on the track to be better than Eric Dickerson. I think we can both agree on that.
I don't know much about Eric Dickerson other than just like highlights and stuff like that. I haven't dove into his stats all that much. Is
Going for 2,000 yards is pretty impressive, so I know he's pretty good.
all right. I mean, you have Adrian Peterson in that category too.
I consider Adrian Peterson one of the best running backs of all time.
But yeah, like my point being, I don't know where I would put Adrian Peterson, Saquon Barkley, Eric Dickerson on a list of 1 through 3. I don't have enough information on Eric Dickerson's game to be able to rank them, regardless of their stats.
Would you take AP or Saquon?
Saquon.
You take Saquon over. I'm talking like prime Adrian Peterson, like
For one season, I'll take
that
Saquon.
one. You're taking over that one season, Adrian Peterson. I My one opinion is just, hey, what if that one season happened again, right? And again, and again, and again,
What do you mean?
right? That one Adrian Peterson season,
Like, what if he just had another great season?
like I don't remember what year it was. What was it, like 2007?
In the teens, I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was later. After he came back from his
This
ACL.
it was before my era. It was I don't remember it. I didn't watch it. I just know it was a hella good, insane good year. Um, yeah, I think Adrian Peterson is a better running back than Saquon Barkley.
Hmm. I
Saquon
mean,
Barkley.
that's the thing about all these are just opinion based. I don't think you can at what point can you confidently prove that somebody's better than somebody else other than just stats, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's 100% true. Like,
it's all just opinion at that point.
but I would say if Saquon Barkley puts up another year like he did right now, I can't deny he's not better than Adrian Peterson. I think Saquon Barkley does this same stuff next year. Saquon Barkley insanely he goes up my list at least. He's way up there on my list.
Which he should. I mean, he has the same team around him. They're gonna keep handing the ball a lot. I just like Barkley because he's such a great athlete. He can
Saquon?
do it like, and he's a great. He could probably play wide receiver.
Oh yeah. Put him on the line. Make him go block somebody. He could do it.
They're about that.
He could. Say what he squats like 600 pounds. He's got enough leg drive. He could do it.
He does squat a lot. He squats a lot.
He's impressive. With that little debate though, I think we're gonna have to bring this episode to an end. We had debated a lot of college football actually. Kind of went on a rant there, but that's what this
Yeah, we
podcast
stuck on
is
that one
about.
longer than I was expecting.
Yeah, we this was kind of what this podcast is about. We just find something, we go along with it, just argue, talk about it. It's kind of what we want this vibe to be. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to give us some criticism, tell us what we can do better, anything like that, and leave it down in the comments. Tell us if you agree. Tell if this Eric Dickerson is just insane. Me and him don't know anything about him, and we need to go watch some film on Eric Dickerson. Leave it down below and let us know. Anyways, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.